Good morning, my lovely, lovely people. It is Thursday morning here, and I am about to tell you the truth about the neck and how it is lying to you. Are you ready to hear that? Yeah. I'm Beks Thompson, and I'm a health and integrated personal development specialist. So I'm really expert at helping you unpack what's going on in your life, whether it's a physical pain, an emotional pain, a mental pain from the whirlpools of the mind, and how all those interrelate so that you can actually get exceptional results, because a lot of people struggle to get relief from one single line. And the beauty of working with me is that I do all these things all in one place. It's like a comprehensive answer. So let's get on to this neck. Oh my gosh, who has a neck problem? If you're here, hey Marina, let me know where you're watching from, because all these different people in all these different places I know have neck problems. So let me know where you're watching from, or give me a little wave if you are free this morning at whatever time it is, 8:15. Hey Marina. So necks, who has had a neck problem? Just tick yes, or give me a smiley face if you've had a neck problem at some point. This is tightness in the neck, sore neck, maybe a bit of a headache, maybe you know someone with neck problems. Even if you're watching this later, still just put that on, and because I think it's good for us to realize that so many people do have physical issues, right? And it's not always permanent, and you're not the only one. So what is neck's about? It's a lying neck, not a lying, laying down neck. A lying, as in it is lying to you, neck. Hey, Marina from Central Coast, Sydney. Why is it lying? Because you are not seeing clearly. Good morning, Nanette. You are not seeing clearly. Now let this sink in. There are some key words around the neck that I want you to let drop in. One is avoid and persuade. This is what the neck does. It avoids and persuades. And the key word that you need to understand with the neck is truth. We need to get to the truth of things. So how does this present first on a physical level? On a physical level, there can be stiffness and soreness, and it's kind of sometimes a bit of a sicky, uneasy, icky feeling in the neck, right? What does it feel like when you're not living your truth? There's that sense of unease, that sense of unsettledness in the stomach. And when you're not living your truth, then you are not looking in the right direction. You're not focused. Yeah? You're looking away when you should be going here. You're like, I'm trying not to see that. I'm going over here because this is more comfortable. Because going in alignment with your truth, with your center, with your heart, that can be uncomfortable. You might have to face some things that are a little bit challenging. Hi Sharon, hi Michelle, give me a little wave. Where are you watching from, everyone? Let me know where you are right now, and put yes or a little smiley face if you've ever had neck issues. Yeah, because I know that I'm not alone. I used to really struggle with this, because for a long time I would persuade myself that I was doing the right thing, or I would do something that I knew wasn't great for me, and I would just keep doing it anyway. But I'd persuade myself and tell myself these stories that it was okay in moderation. It was okay. I could let myself do that, or behave that way, or follow this particular path. But really, I knew deep down that it wasn't right for me. And this so often shows up as neck pain. When we are not aligned, we are not listening to our higher truth. And so how else does this show up physically? I tend to find that people that I work with that have a neck issue, they have got some stiffness in this thoracic area, because this is about being open and listening to the heart. And if there's restriction here, it puts a lot more pressure on the neck. We're not listening. We're not open. We're not flexible to listen to the heart. I got a Bribey Islander, Nanette, here on Bribey with me. If we're not flexible and open and listening to this heart space, then we are being driven by the head. When we're being driven by the head, this happens, right? This happens, and we get this sort of presentation. That's extreme. We're driven by the head. Now, if I straighten my back up, look what's happening. I'm actually walking around looking at the sky all day. If you look around at the sky all day, you're going to get neck pain. When we shut down our heart and we're just looking forward, it's like we're actually looking up to the sky. Does that make sense? So you're not clearly looking in a forward direction. You're avoiding. Oh, I'll look up here. I'll look into the mind. I'll look up for inspiration rather than feeling into the body. So one of the first things you need to address is what is going on in this heart space. What's going on emotionally and physically in that thoracic area. The other thing you need to look at is the foundations, the lower back, the pelvis, the hips. If that foundation isn't strong, if you don't feel stable, safe and at ease in the lower part of your body, then your neck is not going to feel safe to follow the path. Because the path is scary. Who's on a personal spiritual path? Just click a yes if you're on a personal spiritual path. It's a scary path at times. It's challenging. That's why most people go on it and fall off it, go on it and fall off it. There's no safety out here. Life is unstable. Life is scary. You have to cultivate a sense of safety in your body, and that means strength and stability in your lower back, strength and stability in your pelvis. If you don't have that, your neck is on shaky ground, right? You've got a few yeses from people that have had these problems. And I describe to my clients a house. If the foundation of the house is your legs, is your feet, is your pelvis and hips, the spine are the walls, yeah, they're sitting on this nice foundation, and the neck are the roof tiles. And if your foundation and your walls aren't stable, then your roof tiles are going to start sliding off. Yeah, they don't have this strong foundation. They can't be clear. They can't stay in truth. They can't stay in alignment because everything else is out. So necks are complicated, and if you just focus on the neck, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to look at this whole chain of events. So we've got weak foundations physically in the lower body. We have potentially a tight or sort of shut down, some stiffness in this upper back. What else have we got? And that takes us to sort of look up or avoid things. Now, emotionally, there can be this sense of unease, like I said before, that you kind of know that you're not fully on your path, but you're just sort of plodding on because it's easier, or you're letting yourself off the hook somehow, or you don't have the time or money to invest in what you want to do, or it's challenging, or you don't know how to do it, so you just sort of keep going down the same path. Emotionally, often that's what's going on, or you've been persuading yourself. And this is what you need to look out for, because the ego and the mind persuades you, but the knowing, the intuition and the heart, that is just, you know that you know. And if you're being led by the ego, by this persuasive voice, yeah, this manipulative voice, then you are going to be being led by the head, and you are potentially going to have these neck problems, right, being pulled forward by your head. So notice that about yourself. Do you spend a lot of time persuading yourself or others about your convictions, about what you believe to be true for yourself? Yeah? The other thing you can do is just blindly shut it down. Like, I'm just not seeing it. And just carry on. You don't ask any questions. That's the other side of the coin. But when we are in our heart space, in our center, when we feel safe and grounded, we know that we know. And we follow that path. And when we veer off from it, that we get that sense of unease. It's like, oh. And if you keep going down there knowing that unease, this is what can really, really create neck problems. Because energetically, the neck and the meridians in the neck are closely related to the stomach lines and to the gallbladder lines on the meridians. And this is around not digesting things fully. You're not fully digesting what's going on in your world, mentally, perhaps and physically. You're not really understanding and getting what's going on. You're still being driven by the mind. You're not letting the rest of your body assimilate your body wisdom. And with gallbladder, there's a lot of issues around control. So you're trying to control something that you can't control, and it's taking you off your path. So feel for a moment if that's true for you. That persuasive stuff, you're trying to control something and say it's okay when it's not, and you're not seeing and tapping into what you feel to be true. There's a sense of uneasiness. If you've got neck problems, you need to be looking at this stuff. Yeah? So what do you need? How do you deal with this? Well, you need the opposite of everything we've talked about. You need to be gentle with yourself for a start, because that inner critic and pressure, neck doesn't like it. Yeah, it makes it even more intense, because it's like, oh, there's resistance to seeing it because it hurts, and no one wants to be criticized and told that they're doing the wrong thing. Don't do that, all right? You want to love yourself and really be gentle on yourself. You need to be focusing on stability in all areas of your life. So whether that's physically in the lower part of your body, in your environment. You need to focus and get simple, because we persuade ourselves and distract ourselves. We can't see clearly if we're doing a million things at once. It's an awesome way of distraction and persuading ourselves that we are being incredibly awesome at doing lots of different things. And you're not. You're being really ineffectual at lots of different things. So you need to focus and get clear. That's going to help pull you into alignment with the truth, of what is going on for you. It's too cloudy and confusing if you've got millions of things going on. Does that make sense? Give me a little wave if that makes sense. Who has lots of things going on, and you keep yourself busy in all these different places to kind of avoid committing to one thing? Because if you commit to one thing, what if it's wrong? You need to learn what truth is in your intuition. And even if that one thing is wrong, at least then you can then go and move to perhaps a different path. If you're doing lots of things, you can't get clear. So first thing, stability in your body and in your mind, and clarity by getting more simple. You need to learn to tune into this heart space. I'm going to show you in a minute something that you can do physically to move that area, which is really important if we want to free up the neck. I've got a few unfamiliar names on here, so let me know where you're watching from. Just tap in here where you're watching from, because there's Facebook friends, we're all over the place, hey? And you need to be asking yourself this question: what is true for me? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why is a big question, right? But if you don't ask why, you're not going to get to the truth of who you are and what you're doing. So you need to be asking yourself, is this true right now? Say you're trying to get off coffee or cigarettes or something, just pick something out of the blue. When you go to have that, and maybe you tell yourself this little story, it's okay because I can do this and I can have that and it's fine and I'm okay with that. Is it true? If you get that sort of sense of unease or persuasion come in, and whenever you ask this question, is it true? It's maybe not true, because remember, the ego is persuasive. The head and the mind is very persuasive. The heart knows it knows, and it's solid in that. And if you're in that persuasive ego mind, that's your head forward, you can be getting some neck issues. You're lying to yourself to make yourself feel more comfortable, because it's uncomfortable, perhaps, to be a little bit more, pull yourself into something that is your path. And as we said before, walking your path can be uncomfortable. It's challenging. It's supposed to be. It's the whole point. So something that you can do physically, if you just try and focus on the neck, you're putting more pressure in an area that's already feeling the load of that pressure, because you know when you're not in alignment. You may not realize it, but your body knows. That's why it's complaining. That's why you're suffering. That's why it's giving you discomfort, because it's going, listen to me. You're not living your truth. So the first thing we need to do, with a very strong foundation, so you can either be sitting in a chair because you're nice and solid like I am, or standing up and really grounding down through your feet, feeling your body in the lower half of your body, feeling the weight of your legs, feeling your feet on the ground, feeling your pelvis. Just get you stable in the lower half of your body. That's the first thing. We've got a couple more people here on Bribey in Brisbane. Hello, Michelle and Francis. And then we want to start moving the chest. Now imagine, I might just move this a little bit, see if you can see my heart space a little bit more. Can you see that? The heart space wants to move independently of the hips. So I don't want you kind of rocking around on the hips to get your chest moving. Do this with me now. We don't want that. We want the pelvis stable foundation, and we're just going to hug the heart in like we're concaving, and then we're going to open the heart. All right, and we're just going to let the head really relax. We're not going to over follow. We're not going to do this. We're just going to let the head be a little relaxed. I want you to feel relaxation in the neck. You're hugging your heart in and you're opening your heart. So that's the first thing. Concave and convex that heart space. And then start to circle in the heart. So again, I'm not going from my hips. This is what it looks like if I'm going from my hips. I want a steady foundation in the hips, and I just want the heart. So if there was a pencil hanging down in the center of your heart, you would be drawing a circle on the floor right now. Now, I do this regularly in my classes, and you would be surprised how many people really struggle with this movement, this change direction. So if you've just joined us, we're talking about the lying neck, and how the neck is, when we has problems, it's often because we are not in our truth. We're in our persuasive head, we're in our ego head, we are not listening to our heart. And so one of the important things is that we move this part in the thoracic spine, because this is where there's a lot of restriction. Susan, I hope you can hear me now. I've moved it forward and tried to speak up. Let me know if anyone else can't hear me. Tell me to speak up. I feel like I'm speaking loud, but sometimes on these phones, they don't always pick up. So have a go with me now. So you're circling. How are you getting on? Let me know. Does it feel sticky for you? Does it feel stiff? Or can you do that easily? Yeah, just pop a little comment below. And just let your head be really relaxed. Don't try and force. One of the other things I see people doing is they lead with their head all the time, right? Or they hold their head completely stiff. Just let your head follow. Yeah, your head needs to learn to follow your heart, and your heart not to follow your head. And so if you're a yogi or you're doing other exercises, watch that, yeah? You don't want to be leading with your head all the time. When I'm getting people to move in my yoga classes, I'm always moving from the center. Francis says that's better now. Good. Glad you can hear me. I'm always moving from the center, and that is our navel area. From the center, lead from the belly, then the heart, then the head. We want that stable foundation, then the heart space, then the head. If you're moving from the head, then you are moving from the head in your day, not just on the mat. All right. So we've got the forward and back with the heart, stable foundation, relaxed head, and we've got the circling. That's just the beginning to start to free up and get this segmental movement, get some control, okay? And the next thing that you can do is just very gently move the head as if there is so much pleasure in that. If you could move your head and neck and feel so much exquisite pleasure, how would you move it? Yeah, so close your eyes right now and just, how does it feel to move your neck? If you could move your neck in any way, but that was the most pleasurable, and give yourself permission, what would you do? It might be tiny little movements. Can you feel that? When you give yourself permission to really like drop into what gives you the most exquisite pleasure, it just feels amazing in your body. So there are a few things here. Go back and watch this again, because it feels like there is a lot of layers in here. But some of the key things with your neck is that somewhere, somehow, you are in persuasive mind, manipulative mind, the ego mind, which is telling you that something's okay, but it's not okay. So you are not seeing something clearly, and have a feel about what that is for you, because you are looking one way and you're doing something else. So your heart's saying one thing and your head's saying another. And no matter how long you've been on the spiritual path, some of you guys are the worst. You need to master this being in our body and listening to our intuition, and that is not easy. It requires being stable foundation in the lower part of our body, in our pelvis, in our navel area, so that the heart is safe and free to feel. You can't just focus on the heart with not a stable foundation. So I know we're just touching on some things here, but I want to get you thinking and curious about what's going on, and and take it from there. So that's the thing to think. Are you in persuasive mind? Are you seeing the truth? Are you leading with your head and getting all tense about that? And can you get some connection with your heart, some freedom in the heart space, and have a strong, stable foundation in the lower part of your body, so that you can feel what's right? Because when you know, don't you? You know. I know you do. And you know when you're persuading or kidding yourself. That's what you need to unpack if you have neck issues. Now, is there anything else I wanted to say about that? If anyone has any questions after this, just let me know. I'll come back and check on this later. And if there's anything that you would love me to unpack for you, whether it's any questions you have for me, personally, whether it is anything that you would love to know about emotional health, about musculoskeletal pain and health, whether just about the personal development path. If you have any questions, either put it down here, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just private message me or email me if you're on my list and let me know, because I've got a whole list of things that I'm going to be covering each week, but I would love to be covering what it is that you really want to know about. All right, so let me know, what are you dying to sort of get my opinion on, or my insight on? What do you want to know the truth about? And I would love to help you. So have an amazing Thursday. I'm off to teach yoga now. What are you guys off to do? Let me know. What's coming up in your day? Let me know, and I'll come back and check on these later. Whatever you're up to, have an amazing day. Keep checking in with yourself to see whether you are following your path, and you know that you know. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.